As we pass through, take a look to your left and right. You'll see these mysterious red columns. Why are they there, Jordan? What is their purpose? I hear you all cry. Well, I will let you ponder on that, and I shall reveal all our return journey. So, looking back to St Paul's Cathedral on the left, you'll notice that there are no other taller buildings around it. This is because an old law states that the dome of St Paul's must be observable from 8 key points across the city. Now, some of those key points are quite far away, so it actually explains a lot of the strangely shaped skyscrapers ahead of us. They all had to be built in a way that honoured the protected sightlines of St Paul's Cathedral. Also, the City of London School, here to our left, you'll notice has a large glass atrium in the middle. That's so that St Paul's Cathedral is observable through the building from the river. Coming up on the right, you'll see a round white building with a thatched roof. This is Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, or a reconstruction of it anyway. In 1970, American director Sam Wanamaker came to England hoping to find a monument to Britain's greatest playwright, Bill Shakespeare, and he found nothing. So he took it upon himself to build this reconstruction. It was completed in 1997, and they used all the same Elizabethan construction methods as the original. So that means no electric tools were used to build the Globe Theatre there. It's made from green oak wood, carved and shaped by hand, and that is the only thatched roof you'll see in London too. The Globe Theatre officially opens for its summer season in just a couple of weeks' time. April the 23rd was William Shakespeare's birthday, so that's when they try and open every year. April the 23rd was also the same day that Shakespeare died. We don't know exactly how Shakespeare died. Some people think it might have been tuberculosis, TB or not TB, that was the question. Now next on the right here, you'll see a small brick building with red windows. That is the Anchor, one of the oldest riverside pubs in London. There's been a tavern or alehouse here for about 400 years, meaning William Shakespeare possibly drank there until he was barred. Lots of other famous writers across London's history drank at the Anchor too. Dr. Samuel Johnson, who compiled one of the first English dictionaries, drank in there, and the diarist Samuel Pepys, he witnessed the Great Fire of London from that very tavern. Now, speaking of the Great Fire of London again, if you look to the left, you'll see a golden shape at the top of a tall stone column. That is the monument, another designed by Sir Christopher Wren, who was built after the Great Fire of London to serve as a monument to the fire and act as an observation platform. You can still go up to the monument today. It's got 311 steps. There's no lift, but the views from the top are excellent. I like to say it's also a monument to the Great Fire because by the time you get to the top, your thighs are burning. Now, it is time for the thing you have all come here to see today, I'm sure. The magnificent, world-famous London Bridge. The magnificent, world-famous London Bridge is directly behind us. We just went underneath it. Yes, that rather dull concrete bridge is London Bridge. The bridge ahead of us is Tower Bridge. But don't worry if you get them mixed up. Even Google gets it wrong. If you search for London Bridge, it will often just show you pictures of Tower Bridge. Also the singer Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas, remember her? She released a solo single in 2006 titled London Bridge, but in the music video, she's twerking away on Tower Bridge. Now you may have noticed coming up on our right here two rather large battleships. The one on the right is HMS Belfast, played a really significant part during World War II. It assisted in sinking the German battleship the Scharnhorst, and it's one of the first ships to fire at the D-Day landings. It's been stationed here since the 1960s. It's now owned by the Imperial War Museum. Currently moored alongside HMS Belfast, we have what I believe is a Dutch naval ship called the Holland. I only arrived here yesterday, so I don't know a great deal of information about it. We do occasionally get foreign naval ships coming to London, and when they do, they're moored alongside the Belfast here. But we are now approaching Tower Bridge. How exciting. I'm going to move to the back of the boat so you can get a good photo of the bridge without me in it. Just once again, please do stay seated whilst taking your photos. That will ensure everyone behind you gets a good view too and most importantly, it means our captain can see where we're going. The Tower Bridge. It was designed by Horace Jones, built in 1894. It's a bascule bridge, which means the two parts in the middle can rise up and open to allow ships to pass through. In its opening year, these bascules would have opened around 6,000 times within the 1 year. They open less frequently nowadays, maybe once or twice a day if you're lucky. There is an old sailor's legend which claims if you wave to the people on Tower Bridge and receive a wave back, you'll earn 5 years good luck for the entire boat. So everyone cheer and wave as we pass through, see if you can grab their attention, earn us some good luck. Hello, people on Tower Bridge, give us a wave! There we go, lovely stuff. See those two guys on the left waving back? That's Keith and Jason. We pay them £5 an hour to stand there and wave back at you all. But that is a real Edwardian legend. As sailors were leaving the city, this is the last bridge they'd come under. Hopefully they'd have loved ones standing on the bridge to wave them farewell, meaning hopefully 5 years' time they'd still be here to welcome them back. A little further down the river you've got the area of Rotherhithe. For any American friends on board the boat today, that is the part of London where the Mayflower originally set sail, taking the first pilgrims over to America. Over there now they've got a pub named the Mayflower with a statue of Captain Christopher Jones outside. Many of those first pilgrims to America, including Captain Christopher Jones, were all from this very part of London. So we are about to turn around here, and it is here where you'll get your photo opportunity of the day. That's right, it's a selfie with me. I'm joking, you don't want that. I do of course mean a photo of the magnificent Tower Bridge to our left. This is a great spot for a photo of the bridge from the river with the whole city behind it. So get your phones out, social media apps at the ready. Just once again, do stay seated or taking your photos. If you do post any photos on Instagram today, make sure to use all the appropriate hashtags. Hashtag Tower Bridge, not London Bridge. Hashtag Get It Right Fergie. And this will get you lots of likes. Hashtag Jordan is the best tour guide ever. One of my favourite stories to do with Tower Bridge. In 1952, a double-decker bus came along here on a very foggy day. And the bus driver, a man named Albert Gunter, did not see the signal telling him to stop. And as he approached the centre of the bridge, he noticed it was rising underneath him. And so Albert had to make a split-second decision. Do I try and come to a stop, or do I speed up? And Albert decided to put his foot down and speed up. He jumped, he cleared the gap in the middle, and successfully landed on the other side. Everyone survived, and Albert was regarded as a hero for saving the lives of everyone on the bus. In fact, one of the passengers from that bus was getting married the following year, and they invited Albert to be the best man at their wedding. I think he even drove the bride to the church in his bus, so it was a happy ending all round. Now, if you look at the stonework on the towers of the bridge, it is actually purely cosmetic. This is Cornish granite that was added over the top of the steel framework, just to help the bridge match the Tower of London, which is coming up on our right. Now, the Tower of London is one of the most impressive fortresses in the UK. It was established by William the Conqueror in 1066, and it has had many, many functions over the past millennia. The Tower of London has been a royal mint, an observatory, a zoo, an armoury, a palace. Most notoriously, it has been a place of imprisonment, torture, and execution. So, Guy Fawkes, the man who tried to blow up Parliament, November the 5th, 1605, he was taken here to be tortured. On him, they would have used a whole manner of medieval torture equipment. You've got the rack, the thumb screws, the pear. You don't want to know where they stick the pear. If you look to the right there, you'll see the words "Entry to the Traitor's Gate" over an old bricked up tunnel. That is where prisoners used to be taken by a boat into the tower to await their gruesome fate. As well as Guy Fawkes, the wives of Henry VIII, Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard, they were both taken through that tunnel to be beheaded there. Now, only royalty was allowed to be executed within the tower's grounds as a small courtesy before their death. But many more common criminals would have been executed outside over on Tower Hill. And that would have been in front of a huge public crowd. Made a great day out of entertainment, it really was. Fun for the whole family. You know, we actually had public executions in London up until 1868, which is actually more recent than the invention of the London Underground. So that means there is a small window of history where people were going out to see live public executions via the tube. But if you go to the Tower of London today, you won't see any executions. But you can see the crown jewels, and trust me, they are a real deal. Also, while you're there, you can get a free tour from the Yeoman Warders, if you ask nicely. The Yeoman Warders, or the Beefeaters, they live and work inside the Tower's grounds. They know all about its history, and their tours are fantastic. So if you do go there, definitely ask for a tour. And of course, do make sure to give them a tip at the end. Apparently, if you tip any tour guide in London, it'll bring you 10 years good luck. It's true. Now, to our left here, we have the Shard. This is the tallest building in Western Europe. It was designed by Italian architect Renzo Piano, built in 2012. It stands at 309 metres high, which is actually as tall as aviation laws will allow in the UK. Any taller, it would be a problem for aircraft flying over the city. Now, I will admit that the Shard is not a perfect building. It does have a lot of flaws. 95 flaws to be precise. It was going to have 96, but that's another story. Inside the Shard, they've got offices, bars, restaurants, the 5-star Shangri-La Hotel, and they do have a couple of apartments at the top as well. And last time I checked, one of the apartments at the top of the Shard was selling for £43 million. So, just to let you all know, if you are planning on buying one of those apartments, I am single, I'm looking for a new place. I think we could be best friends. Sometime after the cruise, please. And of course, there are lots of other tall buildings on the right as well. You'll find the walkie-talkie, the cheese grater, the scalpel, behind that the gherkin. We do like to get some strength into our buildings in London. A lot of people have been asking me what's going on the right here, this building with all the strange white bubbles poking out of the front. This is Billingsgate, and they've got a temporary exhibition on there at the moment called the Balloon Museum. I've not been yet myself, but I think it's very good, the Balloon Museum. Although if you do want tickets for the Balloon Museum, make sure to get your tickets now. Ticket prices are rapidly increasing due to inflation. We are now coming back to London Bridge. There has been a version of London Bridge in some form or another on this spot for about 2,000 years. The Romans established the very first wooden bridges here. We later had a medieval stone bridge on the site. That one was a very menacing structure with 7-storey buildings on top of it, heads on spikes at its southern gatehouse. The medieval version lasted over 600 years until it was replaced by the Victorians. We then had Victorian London Bridge here up until the 1960s, when we noticed it was starting to sink. So, a man named Robert P. McCulloch, an American gentleman, offered to buy London Bridge from us. He claimed he was very fond of Victorian London Bridge, so he bought it. He transported it brick by brick to his home in Arizona, where it now stands over Lake Havasu. It's a tourist attraction. It's still there to this day. So if you ever find yourself in Arizona, USA, you can go see the real Victorian London Bridge. Now, avast ye sailors. If you look to your left, you will see a pirate ship. Yes, between the buildings here, there is a reconstruction of Francis Drake's Golden Hind. In 1577, Francis Drake set sail on the Golden Hind, becoming the first Englishman to circumnavigate the globe. However, he kind of did so by accident. His real objective was to steal lots and lots of gold, mainly from Spanish ships returning from South America. He stole all their stuff. He did not fancy facing them again, so he just kept going in a straight line until he went round the entire world and came back to England. And when he got back here, how did we punish Francis Drake for his piracy? We did not. Instead, he amassed so much gold that he was able to pay off England's national debt 3 times over. So Queen Elizabeth I was very grateful and gave him a knighthood. Just goes to show you, sometimes crime pays. If your mates with the aristocracy. But you can come on the Golden Hind today. They currently run an escape room on there. It's called Escape the Golden Hind. Lots of puzzles on an authentic pirate ship. Really is loads of fun. Do recommend checking it out. Now this next bridge ahead of us is Southwark Bridge. Built in 1921 in the Art Deco style. Today, Southwark Bridge gets the nickname of the Lonely Bridge. Can I get an R? We call this the Lonely Bridge as it gets the lowest footfall out of all the bridges in the city. It connects nothing of interest on the left to nothing of interest on the right, and Google Maps generally avoids it. So anyone you see on this bridge today is lost. If they wave at you, it's a cry for help. They don't have a clue where they are. Yeah, lost. It's also the only bridge in the city which is still gaslit. By that, I don't mean we try and convince it it's not a bridge. I mean the lights in it are powered by gas. So, it does make a very romantic walk in the evenings, even if you've got no one to walk to. Now, you may remember earlier me talking about a competition that was held to find a new landmark to celebrate the millennium. The London Eye regrettably came in second place. Well, the next bridge ahead of us is the design that won that competition. Millennium Bridge opened in the year 2000, and in its opening weekend, 160,000 people all walked onto the bridge, and they all noticed a rather severe wobble. People were falling over, people were puking off the side. It had to close after just 3 days. Now, the bridge's designer was a man named Norman Foster. Norman Foster's not from London, he's from the north of England, and after the incident, he was interviewed and asked about the wobble. He claimed that there was nothing wrong with his design, it's just the way Londoners walk. Apparently we march everywhere. But either way, something had to be done, so the bridge closed for 2 years while 91 adapters were installed. They even got help from engineers at NASA, and they eventually managed to remove that wobble. The bridge reopened in 2002, and although its promoters intended for it to look like a blade of light across the city, it now just keeps the nickname of the Wobbly Bridge. The Wobbly Bridge has had a rather successful film career though. Perhaps the most famously, the bridge features in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. It gets destroyed right at the beginning of the film. Now, if you've read the books, you will know that Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is set in 1927. And that is, of course, Millennium Bridge. We don't know what kind of time travel was going on there. And this building to our left with the huge brick chimney was once the Bankside Power Station, until it closed in the 1980s due to the amount of pollution it was causing. The building reopened in the year 2000 as the Tate Modern Art Gallery. It's my personal favourite art gallery in London. That is the world's largest collection of modern art, and it's free to enter. I definitely recommend a visit to the Tate Modern if you ever get the chance. Loads of weird, wacky pieces of modern art to see there. Even if modern art is not your cup of tea, we do have a great bar at the top. It's got some stunning rooftop views. I recommend go up there, have some of their cocktails, then the art might start speaking to you. A little further ahead you can see one of our newest additions to the skyline. This shiny building's official name is Number 1 Blackfriars, but as you know, we like to nickname tall buildings in London based on their strange shapes. A few nicknames have been suggested for this one, including the Boomerang, the Baby Bump, the Cocktail Shaker, or perhaps most popular, the Kim Kardashian. I'm sure you can figure out why. We've now got Blackfriars train station in front of us here. This is the only train station which spans the Thames. You can access it from either side of the river, and along its roof it is covered with solar panels, which means on a sunny day in London this train station is entirely solar powered. The other 364 days a year it is not. And once again, here are those mysterious columns. Yes, let's go there. I'm sure you've got the guide to find out the mystery behind them. Why are they here? What is the purpose? Well, I shall reveal that story once we're through this bridge. So, here you go. Those columns once held up the St Paul's Bridge, which was built to hold the London, Chatham and Dover steam railway line. The bridge was built in 1885, but as the years went on, steam engines got heavier and heavier, and St Paul's Bridge started to crumple and break under the weight of newer, heavier trains. Eventually, the bridge had to be removed, and it was replaced by the two new Blackfriars bridges on either side. However, as they were removing the old bridge, they realised that those columns were so firmly embedded in the river, the only way to remove them would be by using dynamite. However, dynamite would have likely destroyed the brand new bridges which had just been built on either side, and they didn't want to do that. So instead, they decided the best thing to do would be to paint the columns red, give them a grade 2 listing. Just hope no one notices. We've noticed them, so we point them out 10 times a day. Now, to our right, all along the north side of the river, we have the Victoria Embankment, which contains our old Victorian sewer system. Lovely. It's getting a little upgrade at the moment. You can see all the works going on here right now. Apparently, the new sewage pipe is going to be so large you could drive 2 double-decker buses side by side through it. Sounds like the worst bus route in London. Now, the original Victoria Embankment, as I mentioned, has its origins in 1857. Over the 19th century, the population of London rapidly grew. With that, we saw a huge increase in the amount of raw waste going into the river unfiltered. In 1857, we had a very hot summer, causing all that waste to ferment, leading to an event known as the Big Stink. There were outbreaks of cholera across the city. Even the members of Parliament noticed the stench coming through the windows, and as ever, it took for the problem to reach the politicians on a personal level before they bothered to do anything about it. So, at that point, they hired a man named Joseph Bazalgette, a civil engineer, to design the Victoria Embankment. It massively improved how sewage was filtered in London, and so it is partly thanks to Joseph Bazalgette the Thames today has become one of the cleanest urban rivers in the world. Now, given recent news stories, I don't know how much longer I'll be able to keep saying that fact, but sure enough, at one point, this river certainly has been one of the cleanest urban rivers in the world. We do have over 125 species of marine life living in this river. You'll find seahorses, porpoises, seals. Earlier this year, there was a sighting of a pod of dolphins down in Canary Wharf. That was very exciting. Last year, they reintroduced beavers into the Thames. Beavers have been extinct in Britain for about 400 years, but they decided to reintroduce them last year. When I found out there were beavers in the Thames, I only had one thing to say: oh damn. There have even been sightings of whales and sharks in the Thames. Yes, there really are sharks in this river. You'll find the tope shark, which can grow up to 6 feet in length, and another species called the spur dog, which is venomous. So there you go, one good reason not to go for a swim. Now, along the wall of the embankment, you may have noticed several green lion heads with rings in their mouths. Those lion heads are dotted all along the length of the embankment. They're old Victorian mooring points, somewhere to tie up your boat. But they were also used as an old flood detection system. There's a little rhyme that goes with the lions, and it goes something like this. When the lions are drinking, London is sinking. When the lions are ducked, London is flooded. This building to our right with the green dome roof is Somerset House, most famously known nowadays for its art gallery. Right now they've got an exhibition on there called Heat. It's been marking 50 years of the creation of Hello Kitty. So they've got some Hello Kitty themed things, lots of cute things. In fact, if you look closely to the right there, behind the trees, there's a big statue of Hello Kitty outside as well. I think today might be the last day of that exhibition. I went last month, genuinely is very interesting. Would recommend if you have something to do so. We're now coming back under Waterloo Bridge. Just beyond the bridge, on the right-hand side, we have the world-famous Savoy Hotel. That's this building with the dark green tile roof and a flagpole in the middle. Most famous names have stayed at the Savoy Hotel over the years, from Charlie Chaplin and Marilyn Monroe, all the way up to Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift. The most expensive rooms at the Savoy are in the Royal Suite. These will cost you £18,000 a night with a 3-night minimum stay. With that price, you get your own hand-stitched mattress, butler service, and your own personal therapist. There you go. If you're spending £18,000 on a hotel room, you need a therapist. To our right here, we've got the oldest thing you'll see along the river today, Cleopatra's Needle. This Egyptian obelisk was built 3,500 years ago under the reign of Thutmose III, and it was given as a gift from Egypt to London in 1819 as a thank you for our help at the Battle of the Nile. I will repeat that, this is a gift. What of Egyptology in London we didn't steal. Apparently, Egypt were originally going to give us one of their pyramids, but they would only give it to us on the condition that we took the pyramid apart, sell each part to 6 different countries. Each of those countries would then have to sell their part to 6 more countries, and so on and so forth, until we realised the whole thing was a scheme. There you go, worst joke of the day. Right, as we come back under the Golden Jubilee bridges, this will be your last chance to wave at a stranger on a bridge and get a wave back. Get all the waves out of your system. Hello! Lovely stuff. Try this on the tube later, they won't be so friendly, I can assure you. Hello! Now, over on the right, opposite the London Eye, you can see a very large building with a light green roof, lots of different flags on it. That is the Ministry of Defence. It gets the nickname of the iceberg, because what you see of it is just the tip of the iceberg. It is much larger underground than it is above ground. It's got huge underground nuclear-proof bunkers with tunnels connecting to Downing Street and Parliament, so in the event of nuclear fallout, all our politicians will be safe.
Yeah.
How reassuring. In 1999, when the London Eye was being built, the Ministry of Defence tried to take the London Eye to court, as they were concerned that foreign spies would go on the London Eye and from the top use telescopes to look across the river, in through the windows, and spy on secret documents. This really went to court, but the court effectively told them, you're the Ministry of Defence, just buy some curtains. Which they did, case closed. Now we will shortly be returning to the London Eye Pier, but I do ask you all in the meantime to please remain seated. Just while we carry out our docking procedure, get the boat properly tied up, please do stay in your seats until I let you know it's safe to disembark. Also, the toilets on board are now closed. There are toilets over in the ticket office should you need, but the ones on the boat are now closed, so please do stay in your seats. The last building I will talk to you about today, on our left, is County Hall. This used to be a home to the Greater London Council until it was disbanded by Margaret Thatcher in 1986. The building is now a home for Merlin Entertainments. So as well as the London Eye ticket office, you'll find the London Dungeon, Shrek's Adventure and the Sea Life Aquarium. So if you're ever running out of fun things to do in the city, there's loads of exciting stuff going on here. And of course, the London Eye itself. They do loads of great special events on the London Eye. The New Year's Eve fireworks celebrations happen here every year. They've recently started a new wine tasting experience on the London Eye. And it has been a bit of a spot for romance. In fact, over the years, we have had over 6,000 marriage proposals on the London Eye. We've had 14 rejections. It takes half an hour to go around. What would you talk about? How embarrassing. Lastly, if you have enjoyed the tour today, could I ask you all a massive favour? And please give us a review, either on TripAdvisor or on our feedback machine on the pier. We love hearing all of your feedback, good or bad, and it is the only way I can let my manager know I'm doing a decent job. So if you have enjoyed my tour today, do consider giving me a mention in your TripAdvisor review. Once again, my name is Jordan. If you did not enjoy the tour, my name's Derek. But use this time now to make sure you've got all your belongings together, any bags, buggies, loose change, loose children. Make sure you've got it all with you, and if you stay seated just a minute longer, I will let you know when it is safe to disembark. But before you go, I just would like to say a massive thank you for joining us today. You've been a lovely group, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest of your time in London. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you very much. Thank you, that's very kind of you, thank you. When it is time for you to exit, I'm going to be stood at the bottom of the stairs by the exit ramp. If you do want to